I'm gonna tell my story from going through the inside of the system itself. My first encounter with the criminal justice system in this country was at 14 years of age. I got into a fist fight with one of my peers, and the police was called and I was taken to jail. And at the same time, my family was in the process of moving to California. We had already pretty much moved. We were just finishing out our school years and stuff like that. And the judge didn't take anything into consideration, no mitigating factors. He just strictly gave me 6 years and I was just separated from my family for that period of time. And it's like, that was the hardest thing for me, was that my family was over 2,000 miles away and I was here alone in a system that was just training me for the next level, to go to the adult system. They pretty much just sit you in that place and they want you to become a monster because they put you around people that's going to enforce those same things. And that's what they constantly do. And then from the guards to the other guys that's in there with you, you're constantly being pounded and pounded and pounded until you become like them, become a product of what they want you to be. And so I wound up, I think I did a total of 18 months at that time, and the judge finally let me go home to my family in California. So, but it was kind of like too late, because I was already conditioned to do what they wanted me to do, to be what they wanted me to be hard, to fight, to always want to think someone is out to get me. And so I had that kind of idea. So going into California, that was kind of magnified 1,000 times more with the gangs out there, which I didn't know nothing about, the gang lifestyle, all those different things that I tried to avoid. But it's like, the basic thing was that, you know, you're still going to be out there doing things that you were trained to do, that you were taught to do, that you learned. And sometimes it was just basically sitting in a cell, listening to people's stories, wondering what they did, how they do it, how did you accomplish this? But it was all negative. It was never nothing positive. So going into California, I took that mentality with me and continued to get into trouble. And I transitioned to the adult system. And one thing about it is that once you get into the system, it never want to let you go, because it constantly keeps your past in front of you. When I went to California, they had passed a new law there that said no matter how old the crime was, whether it was a juvenile case or whatever, we're going to use it against you. So I think after getting a drug case, they went back and said, well, you did this as a juvenile, and they gave me a life sentence in prison. And all I had was a drug transportation charge. So with that in mind, it's like, that kind of like blew my whole world up, because I had just had a baby daughter, was born that same year. So it's like, that's another time, me and my family are separated now. So it was like, wow, and when you get into that system, they continue to want you to be separated, because they put all the burden on you and your family, like with the phone calls, the letters. Everything gets more and more expensive to come and visit. They put you so far in the middle of nowhere to where those contacts are hard to maintain for those people that have jobs to pay their bills and then come and see you all the time. So it was like, my contact was constantly getting separated further and further and further. And being in that system, I learned that to hurt me the most is that these things were by design. It wasn't by happenstance or by me being just who I am. It was by design. These things were designed, and I fell into the traps. And I look back at how people talk, even in my own community, like, well, you did it, you deserve it. You deserve this, you did that, you shouldn't have sold those drugs. But I'm like, well, okay, the time should always fit the crime. It should never be a point to just to make money off of me, because that's what they were doing. I could sit around sometimes in the cell and hear the guards talking like, wow, I got all this overtime this week, I'm making 100,000 more this year because of the overtime that these guys are letting me make. And I'm thinking like, wow, it's like I'm a commodity. And when I see the way they were doing us, we were just warehouse. Wasn't nothing to teach you, nothing to make you better yourself. If you didn't take the initiative yourself, you wasn't gonna get better. It was just a warehouse to house a product. And if you refused to work like they wanted you to work, they would penalize you for give you more time because you didn't want to work and make money for them. So it was like, it just dawned on me that the systemic problem that we have in our society is ripping up our communities in the poor areas of the country at alarming numbers. And I just wonder, what are we gonna do about it? And that's why I'm telling my story, because I don't want people to always think that your kid is just bad, your kid is just getting in trouble, or your loved one is constantly just messing up, because that's what you want to do. There's a real system out there that's designed to paint you that way and to make you always think about people that way. So in my personal experiences, it's nothing good. It's nothing good. So we always got to be there to support one another. Because when I was in that cell, 14 years old, missing my family, being so far away from them, that was devastating because I felt like I was on my own. And that transformation became easier to become a monster, to do what they want you to do because you feel like you had no support. And they kind of take advantage of that. And I just want y'all to know that you got to support your families. They get into trouble, your friends, support them, and understand it's a system out there designed to put us in that type of situation. Thank you for your time.